All right, good evening. Reminder to turn on your microphones. Good evening. It is March 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. and we are here for the Keizer Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Let's get a consideration of the minutes for February 2025. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second?
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously with 2 absent. All right, Mr. Massey, I think I've got you signed up. Are you going to want to talk during your grant piece, or are you want to talk now and then talk about your grant piece?
I can talk wherever is most convenient for you guys.
Why don't we bring you up during the actual grant piece? Is that cool? Great. Okay, so we have 2 matching grants for consideration tonight. We have one submitted by Tammy Kuntz and Jacqueline Green from the Greater Northeast Keizer Neighborhood Association for a mini library and garden project for a grand total request of,
$248.
yeah, they're requesting $248, but the total project value is estimated between $4,800 or $4,089 and $5,529. Tammy and Jackie, do you guys want to come up and talk about this a little bit?
This one like the 200 and something is right.
Oh, as it was, it appears that they're asking for, how much I'm very confused.
$298.48.
Okay.
Okay,
It's the revision.
so we
of-
didn't redo this form, we just changed the narrative.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we just,
Yes.
well, I
The very
did
back
do
of the packet.
that form too, but.
Okay, if you would, please introduce yourself and state your city of residence for the
Tammy
record.
Kunz, Greater Northeast Keizer Neighborhood Association and Keizer.
Jacqueline Green, Greater Northeast Keizer Neighborhood Association, and Keizer.
All right, do you want to tell us a little bit about the proposed project and what your plan is here? Give us some information on it, please.
So, we are looking to add some mini libraries and mini gardens around the mini libraries to help with, number 1, take a book, leave a book education and food insecurities for families. We are looking to do 2 in Claggett Creek, 1 in Northview Terrace, and 2 in Chalmers Jones, 1 over towards the skate park, and 1 towards this side somewhere, wherever Mr. Johnson thinks they can go. And I've made arrangements with Keizer Library to help with making sure the books are stay in there, along with Chris Adams, who is helping us with maintaining the rest of the mini libraries we have out in the community. And she does West Keizer's as well. But we have been talking about doing it for a few months now, and then decided this was the time to go ahead and do it. So I submitted all the information you need for the supplies, as well as the donations for plants, as well as the donations for time. And we are seeking $298.48 for total cost.
Please,
That's
yeah.
not counting the plants that we have being donated or the time putting in for the building of the garden beds and take a book, leave a books. And the community ROI is about 2,000 families, and I am available to answer questions.
All right, Tanya.
Awesome. I'm not seeing, where is this going to be located at?
2 at Claggett Creek,
Okay.
1 at Northview Terrace Park, and then 2 at Chalmers Jones Park out here.
Okay. And then what are I just geek out about gardening. So what plants are, because I see plants listed, but it doesn't say what kind of
Because
vegetable.
I don't
Not
know
sure?
all
Okay.
of what kind,
Yeah.
because 5 of my families are donating plants.
Okay,
I know there'll be herbs and I know there'll be vegetables. I know tomatoes, peppers. I've asked them not to do anything vining because they need to stay corralled and
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for taking care of zucchini or anything that vine out in huge amounts. Other than that, I don't have the answer for that because I am leaving that up to those who are donating those plants.
so that was my question, because ultimately, even if tomato plants are gonna get unruly depending on what, and then so upkeep, water, all of the things that I think about with the community garden, those are
Yeah, we
components.
have 10 people who are gonna do rotations on making sure they stay clipped up and watered and taken care of.
Okay. And then produce plan for who's gonna take it, because,
It's open for whoever needed it.
so just so you know, that you might wanna have a plan. I know that even in our community garden, the produce sat, so just putting that into the air. Okay.
Lisa?
How big are the planting boxes gonna be?
Not exactly sure. We wanted to cover the base of the take a book, leave a book, and I would say maybe 4 by 4,
Okay,
4 by 8.
okay,
Not really huge.
right.
Something that we can manage and don't take up a ton of space.
Right, and that's what because, with tomatoes and vegetables and herbs and all of that, I mean, to me, in my head, that sounds like a very big planting box.
TV size is our goal.
Okay, so you can
the
do
best visual I got.
container plant. I mean, I know that when
Yeah.
I go and look at seeds, like, this is like great for containers. So, okay.
I actually have no idea what you want to use the money for. It's really unclear. There's a lot,
We
let me
want-
finish my statement
okay.
before you go on. There's a lot of dollars here. There's a lot of, things proposed to be bought. It is unclear to me, as I look at this, where the, donations are coming from. I mean, I see $600 in, donations, but it's unclear. I don't know what this is actually buying. I'm very, very unclear on if the board's gonna consider this, how does Robert make sure this is satisfied when it comes to making sure we're accounting for the money? This is not a lot of money, but, I just don't actually know what it is you're trying to buy.
So we're trying to buy the material to build it as well as the
To build
pottings.
what?
To build the take a book, leave a book and the garden, little mini garden plot,
Okay?
as well as the soil. That's where most of the cost is for us. Most of the donations will cover the plants and that kind of thing.
So the actual donations that you're talking about are specific to the plants that would theoretically go inside these boxes? Okay. Have you priced out any of these boxes at all? Like the actual take a book, leave a book things?
I have looked and the material that was needed to build the ones that we have listed here is just enough to build the 5 that we're gonna put out in the garden.
How much does it cost for one of them to be built?
I do not have a calculator off the top of my head, so I would divide that number by 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna offer you a perspective. We did one of these at Keizer Rapids Park. It was a scout project, probably 17, 18 timeframe. We didn't fund the project, but we offered permission. So that one box was $250. Okay, so I'm not a mathematician. I will never pretend to play one on TV, but 5 times 250 is a little bit more than what you guys have here.
Right.
And that's just for the boxes, for the books, not to mention the garden stuff. The other question that I don't know, Robert, is if we're gonna do these in parks, do we have a standard for which you expect these to be built, or are we just kind of like, eh? And it's not to dismiss it, but I want to be consistent because I think that what I've experienced with this was like in a heavy use area like Chalmers Jones and like Claggett, this is very easy for these to get destroyed. And then it becomes an issue where Robert's constantly having to send his folks out there to do work, and what was once maybe a $200 thing has now become a $1,500 thing, because we're constantly have to replace stuff, right? So,
To answer your question, standards would be, it needs to be safe,
okay,
right? So, if you have a book library somewhere and you want to put a garden bed under it, near it, next to it, whatever, it should not go somewhere that somebody's just going to walk up and accidentally trip over the garden bed. So that's like a concern I have. Clip your heel on it, not paying attention because you're reading a book, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in the garden bed. So I'm not sure exactly, like, I don't see a drawing here showing like the actual design, so that would be helpful. And then, you said wherever I want to put them, well, where do you guys want to see them go? Because, I mean, this is your project, no offense, but it's,
Right.
I would like some-
Flag it, I want them near the porta potty area on each side of the park. The Dearborn side and Shamawa side.
okay,
And then I was wanting here, one towards the skate park and one towards the building. And
so, you do,
Northview Terrace doesn't have restrooms, so it would be over towards the pool area.
okay,
And as long as it's not on the pool property, they
Right.
said they didn't have a problem with that.
okay.
But placement, I was looking for your guidance on.
Then
be
what
honest.
is your overall design? Like, where is the garden bed going in relationship to the book library?
Behind.
Behind it, okay. And are you planning on placing these in a irrigated lawn area that we own?
That I was gonna arrange with you because I didn't know.
Okay. Materials for the garden bed itself, are those shown on here?
Yeah, it's all part of,
Can you please walk me through which line that is
so for the wood itself,
for the garden bed, yeah?
the, plywood would be cut
oh,
for those measurements of, like, the size of the TV.
So you want to build, just to be clear, you want to build the, garden box out of 1/2 inch plywood, actually 1/3 inch plywood. That's what you have listed here for plywood.
Right.
Is that what you're wanting to build the garden boxes out of?
Yeah.
Okay, that is not gonna work. That's
So
so,
what
about
would,
Hold
that
on, hold on.
thin, and it's wrong material.
Tammy, I want you to be successful with this. I'm gonna tell you right now I'm a no vote, I don't understand this, okay? I want you to be successful with it, I think you need to tiptoe. Right now, you're wanting to run with 5 in parks. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to put, take a book, leave a book next to a library, or on the same piece of property as library, because I think it distracts from the library personally. I want you to be successful, I would really like, I want to get Patty Mills Tischer, she did this with her son, they were really successful building this at Keizer Rapids. I would love to just really sit down and hone in on this, help create the plan, because I think what you have here is the merits of something that has something really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes, I gotta be honest with you, like community gardens, they're there for a reason, they're controlled. I just really struggle with this idea of like putting food out that people can just willy-nilly go and grab, because people can willy-nilly go and do whatever else they want to it, and I don't wanna see somebody get sick, right? I love them.
Okay, I was gonna say, come on.
I love them. No, Tanya, if
love
you don't know, has helped establish one of the, if not the first community garden in
No, not the
Keizer.
first.
One of the first. Well, there's only 2, so
Anyway,
there's, it's
I'm
50-50
very
chance.
passionate about growing food.
Yeah.
And we also have Peggy, who's in here, who is
Yeah.
very passionate about it too. So if we want to pick brains and kind of grow this
yeah, we actually
idea,
garden with Peggy.
which is perfect, right? Because she's definitely somebody that can give guidance and support it in that way. So I
So,
agree.
so that's my own personal vote. I don't think we're here, right? And I know that, like the concept is there, we just have to really flesh it out a little bit. I think we have some people that have the skill set to bring this forward and really help you be successful with it. Because like Robert's dead right, if you're gonna try to build this out of 1/4 inch plywood, the first time somebody sneezes on it, it's gonna fall over. You have to have structural support inside that. And we don't want the books to get ruined either, especially if people are donating them. So that's just my own personal opinion. You have these other board members up here that could vote opposite of that, and I fully support that. But I want this to be successful and I want to see you be able to deliver on this. I think there's a good idea. Let's start with one, let's get it right. But again, you have the rest of the board that can say, Matt, you're full of stuff. I edited myself, I'm so proud. And they could go a different way, but that's just my own personal thing, so. Anybody have a differing opinion on this? Anything-
No,
Yes, Clay?
so my thought on this is we have one by where I am up Wheatland Hill, and it's been there for a couple decades, and it was made right. And it's painted and it's weather resistant and there's nothing but flat surfaces around it, right by anyway, I think you're right. Great idea, but let's get it done right so it's not a massive project that Robert gets to send his folks out for on a regular basis. I think if we do it, we can do it right. And I think you'll have everybody's vote once we get there, once we get it right.
I just think you and Jackie put a lot of time in, and if you're gonna have your name associated with it, it deserves to be done in a way that you can be really, really proud of. And we got smart people that'll help you put this together. So if there's others that have a differing opinion, I'd like to make sure the floor is open so everybody's can talk equally, but. Okay. Let's chat.
I love little free libraries. I like garden boxes. I want it to, though, to last. I know that the one at Keizer Rapids has had some challenges at first, just because of, you know, it being in a park and people having more time than sense to mess around with things. But now it seems to be pretty stable.
So, let's chat, please. Okay. I want to see this be successful. And I think really talking with Robert and having that opportunity to sit, I mean, this guy's the expert. He can give you really specific, assistance on where to go. I've got Rotarians that need projects, so I think we can land this ship. We need to make sure we do it right.
Sounds good.
So, thank you so much. This is a good idea. Let's just make it work. Wow. Okay. Now Paul's like, do I actually want to come forward? Paul, come on up, please. This is a garden request, or a grant request from KP Kids, Keizer Parks Kids, our skateboarders, our hooligans, doing good work. I love it. For pollinator garden at Carlson Skate Park. Total project value estimated at $6,600.
Total request 5 from the. it's on
Total
the-
request,
it's on the-
yeah, $5,000. Thank you, Tanya. It is on the online packet. We don't have it in front of us, so.
Okay.
Request 500.
Oh, minus 10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got it, $500. Just kidding.
Yes,
April
is that
Fools.
correct?
Yeah, I'm
That's what I
requesting
saw in the
500.
request, okay.
I don't do math in public and I apparently don't read in public. I need that community library. Paul, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, first of all, people who don't know me, I'm one of the co-founders of the KP crew. We're the guys who have been sanding the skate park, a group of volunteers that just really like the skate park here. So, really, I've been talking with a few of my guys for a little bit now, and there's a big patch of grass right at the back of the skate park that is kind of just a patch of grass, and I thought...
Can you make sure to bring your mic just a little bit more forward, please?
Hello? Test, maybe?
Is the red light on?
It is, but...
Okay, we're good. Just make sure to
Go.
talk directly into the mic.
Yeah, but, so yeah, I mean, we've seen this patch of grass for a while now. Just kind of the general idea is that I was kind of throwing it around, maybe we put a pollinator garden. I've been looking a lot more into it, contacting a lot of local nurseries, seeing if they have any donations available, and it seems like something that is quite feasible. So, yeah, I'm requesting $500 from the youth grant because I have a lot of youth working with me on this project. And I think that that's about the cost that it would be to get all the plants and stuff hooked up. I've been talking to R&R. R&R says that they would be more than willing to donate the wood chips for this project to actually cover the grass. So that way we could start building mulch and then go from there and build that ground layer of mycelium, kind of build up from there. And general idea of the pollinators that we want there is just Oregon locals, stuff that blooms throughout all of the seasons. So, well, not all of the seasons, but most of the seasons. So that way you can get spring to late fall as much as possible. So that way you provide as much coverage for different types of pollinators as possible. It's kind of the gist. Yes.
Oh, my, My idea, I mean, my question, sorry, I don't have any ideas today. I just have questions. I love bees. Like, I absolutely, positively love bumblebees. I love honeybees. I am not scared of those bees in any way, shape, or form, but a lot of people are. Are you worried about attracting these pollinators, which include striped flying insects,
Yeah.
and having people kind of freak out?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't think that it would be that much of an issue. The area that it's located is not really the central area of the skate park. The only area that really gets skated back there is this ledge that really doesn't get skated that much. So it's kind of towards the back, and I feel like I'm pretty confident that it would be far enough back that it wouldn't actually really affect anybody who's kind of scared of bees or that sort of deal.
They're not scared of falling on their heads without helmets, so I don't think they're scared of bees.
Oh, no, people are really scared of bees when they don't care about helmets. Not you.
Yeah, no.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
So,
Okay.
ask the question, that's a great question.
So I see that you have that number requested, but there's no, detail of what you're gonna be purchasing and how much everything's gonna be costing. Do you have that breakdown?
I don't have an exact breakdown, but I put roughly $500 to calculate all of the costs that would go into actually purchasing the materials. I've been going through different nurseries and stuff that we can actually source the money from. A lot of the stuff that we'd be planting is in the $15 to $20 range. I was looking at, I think it was evergreen, huckleberry, vaccinium, ovatum, something like that. We were looking into that, and so kind of just adjusted from there based on the square footage of it, you know, maybe about like, you know, every 2 or 3 feet outside of the little walking path that I have in mind. I just kind of threw all like, you know, $500 in there. I feel like $500 would be more than enough to cover it.
Robert, what did we spend on plants for the one we did at Wallace?
More than 500,
Yeah.
but not a lot more. And honestly, like the size of area that
It's comparable,
Paul
right?
showed me, the amount of money that he's asking for is exactly about right for the area that he wants to plant for the initial planting. That could even help cover some soil costs if you wanted to amend the soil a little bit. Sounds like he's got the wood chips lined out for free. And because it's a youth grant, the city can purchase the plants instead of doing a reimbursement.
Right.
And so we could utilize some of our wholesale nurseries that we purchase through to make sure we're getting the best prices. Some of the local native growers, like we've done for the Wallace House project
Yeah.
and various other ones. So
What-
he's running a target with that dollar amount.
What are we doing for maintenance upkeep? We just keep,
Me and my crew, I feel like I have more than enough guys who are passionate about this to kind of be able to take care of it. Personally speaking, me and Jacob kind of go to the skate park. I mean, if you combine us, we probably have 365 days a year at the park so far.
so we all win the lottery,
Yeah.
and you've found different things to do to skate. What do we do?
What do you mean?
When you all decide the skate park isn't where you're gonna hang out, what next?
Hasn't thought that
We
far.
don't think that far.
I think that Robbie wants to say
Yeah.
something to you.
So, if we target natives, theoretically, as long as they get established in the first 3 years, the amount of water that those plants should take becomes almost nothing.
Right.
We also do have irrigation really, really close by
Okay.
that I'm confident a small amount of sprinklers can be added to one of those zones if they wanted to do an additional project down the road to get actual irrigation over there. It can be done with minimal efforts. If they were willing to volunteer and, you know, we can map out, figure out how many zones we can, or how many heads we can add to the zone and do some math real quick and just make sure we're not robbing too much water from one of the zones, but, or a drip system would also be another good option for that.
Lisa?
My only question was that we were gonna go through Keizer's environmental just to make sure that the plants that we pick are the right kind of plants.
Oh, Robert's, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just, but it wasn't said, so I just wanted to make sure. Because sometimes when you assume things, it doesn't end well.
That's a fair statement. Yeah, Liam.
Thank you, Chair. So my question is just about how big is this patch of grass? And then is the pollinator garden going to be the same size, a little smaller than the patch of grass? How does that work out?
I mapped the patch of grass out on Google Maps. I think it was about roughly 3,500. I'm calculating roughly 2,800, 3,000 range square footage for the actual garden itself. That's kind of wood chips area. We also need to kind of I'm not exactly sure like how much plant density, that we're gonna have just because, certain stuff needs more sun, certain stuff grows better in the undergrowth. So that would kind of be decided as we get a better idea of, what's gonna be planted.
Clay, you got your thinking face on?
No, I'm impressed with you guys, so love what you do. I
I
mean,
actually don't know that I can support this. You're stealing my idea. Robert, what was it, like 2 years ago, I wanted to do it in Carlson? It's probably been 4 now. We're getting old.
Great minds think alike.
What's that?
Great minds think alike.
Well, don't compare yourself to me. You'll disappoint yourself. All right. What do we
Well,
think, folks?
I was gonna say, you needed to do your homework. However, Robert totally saved your bacon because he has experience with this, and I think that I take his word for it. So I'm in favor of moving forward with the approval. The city would be guiding a lot of the purchasing of this, correct?
Yeah, like we've done in other projects, if this group has a list of plants that they would like to provide, obviously I'll look over that. We'll agree on them before they're purchased and proceed from there.
Sweet.
If there's something I don't agree with, then we can talk that through and maybe find an alternate plant to substitute for that one.
We've got good folks. I mean, West Keizer Neighborhood Association has some really, really smart people that know how to do this kind of stuff. I've done one pollinator garden. We use sticks to make very nice pathways. Not my idea. Smarter people came up with that. I think it was Ron Rich actually came up with that. It was quite brilliant.
I take his word for it.
I was just trying to look at the packet online.
I'll take your word for it.
Lisa really likes seeing herself on camera, so when
No.
she gets to look at it on her phone live during the meeting, she gets very excited.
I was just trying to look at the packet.
It's right here.
Okay, thanks.
I really love that I get to embarrass you right now. This is brilliant. So if I can help, please let me know. We've been successful with it. I think about the flow of it, right? Because just having bark dust out there, the aesthetics, think about it. There's really good ways to very naturally make it flow.
Yeah.
And then, maybe there's an opportunity to talk to Tammy behind you to see how you can, I can't make a joke out of it. Anyways,
I'll make a motion.
I'll shut up.
How about that? I'll make a motion to approve the $500 request for the youth? The youth park grant for the KP pollinator garden at, Carlson Skate Park.
I'll second.
Was that Jill? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve $500 for the pollinator garden by the KP crew, not kids, at Carlson Skate Park. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks for being here.
You guys are doing such great work. I mean, seriously.
Well, we have the skate park, we're doing it for you.
Yeah, good job. Go find like 50 more just like you so we can spread them around all the other parks in Keizer and build that sense of ownership. I would really appreciate that.
Hey, I'm doing my best.
I know you are.
Take care.
I have no doubts.
Lisa, was it you who seconded?
No,
Jill.
it's Jill.
Jill, thank you, Jill.
Okay, new old business pickleball court rules. Current set of rules is attached, collective dialogue with interested parties. Robert, talk to us.
So, back when the pickleball courts were first opening, we kind of had to come up with a set of rules that we could operate from for the time being. And I think all of you were involved in that. Well, was everybody here then? Yes.
Jill may not have been quite yet.
I came in as you guys were talking about the rules. They hadn't quite been decided.
Okay.
so-
Okay. So, we created a set of rules that everybody agreed on. We had a lot of people come in and kind of discuss that at, one of the meetings, gave us a lot of advice and their thoughts and everything. So, came up with a general set of rules and it's listed here. It's on the back page of my packet.
Yeah, we
You all
don't
see
have
that? Shows,
Is that this one here?
time?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 1 through 6, those are signs we put on each gate labeling court numbers, so everybody understands that, you know, what court number 1 and court number 6 are.
Right, it's online, make sure your
We designated
volume's down.
court number 1 as a beginner court. Basically, if you're kind of new to the sport, you go to court number 1 to kind of do your practice, and then as, you know, you're more advanced, you stay over to court 2 through 6. But anyways, it was discussed at that time that the board should take a fresh look at it about 6 months into this set of rules to see if there was any changes, tweaks that you all wanted to make. So that's what this discussion's about. The time is right. We're still kind of in the winter months, but spring's coming. I can tell you just from a staff perspective, I have got 0 complaints about the courts. I've heard nothing but positive things down there. Everybody loves them. I don't go down there on the weekends a lot. I'm sure others might see the activity down there. I see what goes on weekdays mostly. I've seen it pretty busy at times. I've also seen, surprisingly, a lot of courts not being used. Kind of depends on the weather, time of day. Haven't heard of any fights or anybody clashing heads that can't get along. So that's just from my perspective, that's what I know. So, any thoughts?
Well, you know, I think that the only thing I think that has occurred to me, and I've gotten this question probably about 4 times in the last 30 days, how do we reserve it? So if somebody wants to do a tournament, so when Clay gets really, really excited, he's got 14 of his best friends, and they want to go down there and smack a Vlasic pickle around, how does he do that if he wants to do it for a tournament? Is that established yet or no?
Currently, they're not reservable.
Okay.
And that's actually, so there was a gentleman here while I was out of town, I believe it was last meeting. And he's reached out to me since. There's so much to it that goes on. I don't believe we need to right now. I would say the first tournament we'd want to look at possibly putting together, or at least allowing, would be once we have all the bugs ironed out, once everything is in place. I would say not this summer, but maybe the following.
Well, here's the reason I'm asking the question. I know that there's an event coming in May that's going to be at Keizer Rapids. They do a lot of different tournaments, and one in particular they would like to do potentially is a pickleball tournament,
So what is this?
Keizer Fest.
Oh.
So the issue though is if we don't have a mechanism for it, that's fine, but you know they'll just have to figure it out if it's going to be a first come first serve type situation to try to wedge in a tournament in that space.
Well, there's actually a lot more to it, because 6 courts is not enough to really host a decent sized tournament. So
Okay.
you'd be really limited. You'd put in approximately the same amount of work in trying to get it organized. But as far as it being feasible, is it just for enjoyment? That's completely different. We can put on a clinic. What would be the main purpose in doing it? Is it to introduce people to the courts and the city and look what we've done? Or is it more of we want to make it some type of a fundraiser? Or, you know, what would be the overall?
I have 0 details.
Okay.
I was just asked a question.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think it's coming to be able to reserve it for a big event. But, yeah. there's a
I do
lot.
know that one of the key considerations, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but one of the key considerations was making sure at that window, whatever that looked like, we were bringing interested parties together that play pickleball to make sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music. But there's a little bit of logic to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah. Because like if we're not getting a tremendous amount of pushback, because I mean, just in the group of people that were here the day that we talked about this, there was a little bit of difference in philosophy on how this would operate. But if you're not getting any calls on this and it's going okay, I don't know that there's anything to fix.
I receive more calls about the dog park on a regular basis than I've received about this court by far. Nobody has called me with issues. That's basically the only background I have with it is I'm not hearing about problems down there. And I talk to as many people as I can. I see people down there, I pull up, I have a conversation with them. How do you like the courts? And then there's just like nothing but praise about how awesome the courts are. That doesn't really solve if somebody wants to reserve it for an event or for a tournament or whatever per reason. I mean, right now, we can't reserve
I
it.
just don't
but-
know that we have, I don't know that you have the bandwidth to try to deal with a bunch of reservations right now. I mean, I'm not gonna assume your workload, but my guess is you're trying to deal with graffiti and other things, not what court's being used when and whether or not you're gonna go down and try to police that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be another thing for us to do is go post a reservation and, we're not gonna post somebody there watching the tournament unless, I mean, you could go that style if you want, but that's not our norm in Keizer right now. We would post signs saying it's reserved, make sure the courts are clean and presentable, and then we leave and let the people that reserved it do their thing. I do know that this is a really competitive sport, and there's a lot of people that might show up and didn't know it was reserved and be upset about it, but I don't know.
Lisa?
Also, this meeting had pickleball on the agenda from the beginning, and nobody came here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of because it's been such a, you know, I mean, you have been asked 4 questions in the last month,
Yes,
so,
and I think the only way that we make, yes, you're correct.
it doesn't mean, we don't need to make a decision tonight.
I don't think there's a decision to be made.
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
there's a problem. I mean, I think things run smooth until it gets out of hand. I think,
No, I think Robert's doing exactly what we asked him to do, which was revisit this. And my hunch is if folks that were here originally with the pickleball court conversation were super interested in it, they would have signed up to be on the interested parties list.
Yeah.
In which case they would have gotten this notice and nobody's here to complain about it. So, hey, great job managing these pickleball courts.
Good job.
My only question is, we really haven't hit spring and summer yet, which is when I figured they'd really be used. And that might be when suddenly people realize.
Well, if it becomes one of those things, I mean,
Right, but we can revisit it at that time.
I don't think there's a prohibition from revisiting. If it becomes an issue where Robert is concerned about it, I guarantee you he'll bring it back to this body and say, hey, we need to look at this. What, am I wrong on that, Robert?
No, absolutely. If I start getting a bunch of phone calls or inquiries or emails about, the way these are functioning, I'll absolutely bring it back to the board for discussion. And I think the people that make those complaints will probably be sitting there talking to you anyways, so.
The only thing I would say is when Keizer Fest happens, Jill, make sure that it's posted well enough so people don't show up expecting to use pickleball courts and we got a bunch of stuff going on and we get people mad at the chamber.
so why wouldn't they be allowed to be used?
They're welcome to, I'm just saying, Clay, I love pickleball players, but y'all are some sensitive bunch sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm gonna say that with all the love in the world, but when there's an expectation, you can drive down at 8:31 in the morning to go do it, and all of a sudden there's all these things happening, it changes the mindset and expectation of the use. So it's not that I don't wanna prohibit or restrict the use, I just want people to be very well aware of what's gonna be occurring down there, because I don't know that they're gonna wanna be listening to Mike Lowry on the drums at 10 o'clock at night, playing a really great cover band song while they're trying to play pickleball, although they can't because it's dark anyways, but
Headlamps,
that's true.
might be a new thing.
Robert, good job. I think you did exactly what we asked you to do, and thank you for bringing this back.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing? So one thing I think we're gonna see, and it'll be fun to halfway monitor it, is the use. As we get to better weather,
Yeah.
we've had this discussion before, but I don't think 6 is gonna be the final number that we end up with for number of courts down the road.
How much smaller do these get? How are you gonna split these up? You just layer them like Topgolf? I'm just like Topgolf. That'd be funny, right?
Yeah,
I can see it.
With a little net.
We will make the news.
yeah, that would be great. And then the bottom course would be covered
Maybe.
by the top course.
Clay's gonna be so mad at me after this meeting. I've been picking on relentless all
So
night.
are we good with the?
Are we
rules?
good?
Current,
I haven't seen a copy, so.
Do you wanna read it?
I mean,
Well, you should
I
know
don't
it
play
because you're there all
pickleball,
the time
but
reading
that
them.
seems very fair.
They seem
Otherwise, it's
kind of
tacit
logical,
consent.
that
Yeah,
that's
you send me that.
what they should be.
I'll
And those aren't posted up yet.
What's that?
The rules.
The rules.
They're up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
the-
they
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. I just want, then why
Yeah.
are we bringing this conversation? forward?
Because we asked Robert to.
Oh,
We asked Robert to bring it back in March or so.
This was a set of rules to get the courts up and running,
Right.
and then we wanted to revisit it 6 months down the road to make sure that these set of rules were still either good to go or needed some tweaks.
Got it.
I just love that somebody comes by this and if their name is Court, then they realize that they rule. All right, next item here is, the big toy cleanup project. Okay, so this is something that, what am I looking for? Oh, okay. Do we need to go through the,
Do we need to suspend the rules?
suspend the rules to go back to public? I mean, do you want all the pomp and circumstance or do we want to just keep it goofy?
Okay.
Okay. Karina Navarro, come on up, please. Welcome. If you would, please state your name and city of residence for the record and tell us your story if you would. Welcome.
and sit
Come on up
down.
and sit down.
Let's sit down.
Gotta get right in front
Karina
of that microphone.
Navarro, and I live at the Southeast Keizer neighborhood. Well, I'm on the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association
Okay.
and the community center. And
Please make sure you come forward because otherwise the sound guy is going to come tell me I'm not doing my job.
my feet don't touch the ground. So, I sit on both boards, and then, I live right on Alder.
Okay.
We have had a lot of problems, vandalism, theft, abandoned cars, parking, blocking driveways. My neighbor had 9 cats, now she only has 2, because they've been getting run over by cars that are speeding too fast. We do have 2 signs, or the blinking signs posted, but it's further on down, closer to the Brooks area.
I have a question, and I don't mean to cut you off. Is this related to a park?
Yes. the
Okay,
park
thank
is
you.
Right there in front.
No, that's fair. I'm just
Ben
like,
Miller, I'm sorry.
I'm like,
Ben Miller Park.
okay, great. Thank you
Okay,
thank you for allowing me to clarify. I know Alder's right there. I've been there lots of
Yeah.
times. I'm like, I don't know that we have dead cats in parks. I hope not, but
Yeah.
okay, please
But-
continue.
Well, I mean, it's the lady that lives right in front of the park.
Oh, just to
So
the,
it's just
okay.
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a stop sign right before you turn to go to Claggett.
Yep,
So her house is the second one, I'm the third one.
okay.
So I'm directly across the park. I can see, people are working on their cars in the middle of the night. I did a ride along with Officer Darst, talked to Officer Powell, made reports, taken pictures. I mean, we've done everything that we could. And basically, it's just gotten to a point where it's vandalism every day, without fail.
And this
we
is
can
coming
take as
out of
many-
the park.
At the park.
Okay.
And we can take as many pictures. I can show you right now, just yesterday. They were all parked, especially in front of the signs, the stop signs, and then they have no parking signs, and they still park there. We've been told, like, by the police that in that certain corner, right there, there's a corner.
Where all the trees
on
are?
the side, it's BB Court.
Okay.
It's BB and then Arnold. So there's that little tiny stop sign, supposed to be space, whatever. And it's barely enough for 1 car to be stopped
Yeah.
there. But you got 2 parked into the park in front of the sign, the vandalizing the Ben Miller sign that's made out of wood. We just got a new structure. So they've been doing, a number on that, and between me and or Don, which he's also on the neighborhood association. So we just go back and forth with our, graffiti kits. So, there's a lot going on in that park. And we were told that there was supposed to be, surveillance cameras put in. We haven't heard anything yet.
Robert?
I can speak to that. I met with Keizer PD there a week ago, and they are actively looking at the best location to put surveillance cameras in there as an addition to the other cameras that went in the other parks. So I know they're actively working on installing those here as soon as possible. So that's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just kind of worried of what's gonna happen to the after fact, because they're working on cars and oil seeping into the water. That is considered like a ditch. So where's
That's
all
Claggett
that?
Creek right there, actually. It's part of,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
it's
a,
right
there's
there.
a, there's a
So
wetland
it's like-
mitigation project right behind it.
Yeah, and then you got kids running around there, so,
Are you saying they're working on the cars in the park?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Like actually
Yeah,
physically
I
on
can
the
show you, they
park?
even left pieces in the park, like a bumper and, Yeah, and we've been going out there just trying to do the best that we can with, you know, our resources, but they are being reported. You know.
When you do the vandalism cleanup, are you reporting
No,
that?
we report them, take a picture,
Okay.
and then we clean it up, yeah.
Great, thank you. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that that was happening in
Yes,
that
yes.
sequence.
And we come down and get our buckets refilled.
Yep.
So they replace our buckets with stuff that we need, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is,
But, I mean, you know, this has been going on, I mean, it's gotten to be really bad. You know, every now and then you have the occasional, but now it's just like every night.
What is your suggestion? What do you think it would take?
I mean, neighborhood watch would be my thing. Because I know we can't be calling the police every moment, because by the time they get there, they're gone. You know, and they tell us take pictures. Well, yeah, we're showing you the pictures. They're all different people. So it's that traffic where school gets out. It's mostly like at 4 o'clock, and then the older kids, and they hang out, and they stay there. Then 5 o'clock comes, 6 o'clock comes, and it starts getting dark, and they're still in the park, and, you know, it just goes on from there.
that's really unfortunate. I mean, a lot of people spend a lot of time in that park, keeping it clean, keeping trash cleaned up, doing projects down there.
We do our neighborhood night out every year
Yeah.
without fail.
There's a lot to unpack here, and I don't know, I mean, if it's in the park, what I would say is if there's a vehicle, if there's something that's clearly not a park activity happening in the park, please photo document it. We'll make sure that you have the right contact people to send those directly to, rather than just sending them to a generic email address. You know, that concerns me a lot, right? I mean, if we have people driving out there on that surface, especially this time of year, it's very soft, that's dangerous. It's difficult to get out of, especially if you're coming down off Alder, down that hill and stuff like that. Are you seeing, Robert, any evidence in the parks that,
We had a vehicle drive through the grass there about 6 weeks ago, I want to say, don't quote me on that,
Okay.
that did some damage. Didn't really know what that was all about.
didn't we
Grass is
explore a
growing back.
fence along Alder at one point there?
For different reasons. I was concerned about children
Kids,
running in
yeah.
traffic.
This was just Friday, when the kids got out of school. So that's where that little part there that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there is no place to park. I mean, it's an entrance to go down BB and.
That to me is like half in the street, so
Yeah,
it's,
That's how they park, yeah.
I think this is a combination between like a park issue and like a parking
Yeah, traffic
issue.
safety.
Yeah, traffic safety.
Have you talked to traffic safety bike ped at all?
You know, we've had other people go to different meetings because we're trying to figure out the best solution to go through this. So I can ask, Colleen.
So what I would say is traffic safety, because they actually have
Matt, they did come.
they did?
Yeah, Mike de
Okay.
Blasi made a report at our last council meeting about this very same thing.
Okay.
But mainly about the parking.
So chief knows, the cops
Yes,
know, Public
correct.
Works knows. Okay. I mean, the parks thing, I think that's definitely something we can keep an eye on. You know, Robert's very diligent about monitoring specific activities in the parks and stuff like that.
The cameras will help.
The cameras ought to help, yeah. But I'm sorry, that's frustrating.
Yeah, so when the cats start dying, it's like,
One of the things, I don't know. Is there merit in, well, no, never mind.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to kind of step up patrol a little bit during that hour or, you know, that time frame. You know, but like I said, I'd hate to take resources, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to balance resources when you got person-on-person crimes and people being, it's hard, right? It's a lot to balance. And I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful you're talking about this. I think it's gonna keep it on Robert's radar. Who's got Ben Miller right now as their park? Do we know? It's probably me now that I asked that question.
You have the sheet there?
I do have that sheet there. It's David. So David, if you're seeing it, anything particular, just as you're kind of checking it out, maybe just holler at Robert on it. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for raising it. I would say if you haven't, you know, it sounds like you've talked to Bike Ped, which is great. which means, you know, with Robert here, with Public Works and Chief being aware of this and the council, all the right people know. And now we know because of Parks. And I'm grateful for you being here. So thank you for doing that.
All right, okay, thank you so much.
Wow, that's a bummer. All right, parents, if you're watching this, let's work on accountability with our children, yeah? All right, the big toy cleanup project. So this is something I think we talked about, oh gosh, a couple years ago. And, you know, I gotta say, I'm super happy to have Counselor Parsons here. Counselor Parsons was, working on the big toy. She had to put up with me for a week as a construction captain. Good work happened, but, you know, believe it or not, folks, we're coming up on 10 years with that thing being open. And so, it's had a lot of love. It's had some abuse. And one of the things that I think we tried last year, but unfortunately it wasn't able to get done just because of timing, is kind of a two-part, opportunity for us to go in and really give that park some TLC. It might be like 2 staggered weekends where we close it for a portion of like a Saturday morning on one part and then maybe a full Saturday the second part. So here's the idea, would be to go in and literally a top-down scrub of all of the surfaces with appropriate chemicals or whatever else that we need to get the algae and just the stuff that's kind of built up over time, but also make sure we're preserving the artwork because there's a lot of really good artwork done on that facility. Let it dry for a good week and then come back the following week, and where we can, you know, people that aren't me, that have the artistic ability to go in and kind of touch up some of the artwork and try to make it nice again. And I think that there's some stuff that Counselor Parsons is working on that I don't want to take away from her. But ultimately, I think it'd just be a really good idea to kind of, you know, reinvest in that space a little bit. And, you know, the Parks Board, and Tanya, at the time, you were on the Parks Board, I think, when some of this was going on. And David, I know you were there for sure. Just be really great to kind of, if we could spearhead this as a group to pull this event forward, to do the cleanup, to do the kind of freshening up, so that, you know, we're honoring all the great work and thousands of hours that went into that. So I just wanted to kind of present it as a topic idea and see what y'all thought about it. I know Robert's looking at a couple other things that kind of have to be done potentially at the park to you know, keep it up to snuff and make sure that we're, you know, doing the right maintenance things that need to occur there. But yeah, I just want to see what y'all's thoughts are. And then, Councilor Parsons, if you want to talk about some of your stuff, I'd love to, but let's hear from Lisa real quick first.
Oh, I just have a question. Are we trying to get it done by Keizer Fest?
By when, I'm sorry?
Keizer Fest.
No.
Okay. I mean, that's why I
No,
was
it'll be
a little bit-
after, because of that reason, it'll be
Okay,
after.
perfect.
We built it in June, so we're looking around that time frame because that's the 10-year anniversary. One of the biggest things, though, that needs to be done really before we can do any of that work is the surface needs to be fixed. There's holes in the surface. I've talked to Bill. We got to see how big of a safety issue it is to see if we can do it, if we have to do it before July 1st, or if we're going to do it after July 1st, next fiscal year. So that really has to be done. We've got some signage that needs to be replaced, but basically we want to go in there and we just want to make it pretty again. And then we want to have a grand reopening, 10-year anniversary of the big toy. I think that, you know, with the park the way it is now, I think that would have many more people that would come and want to visit it. But, you know, now that we have those soccer fields, it's double, tripled the amount of kids that are playing in this park.
Yeah.
So I would really like to get it to where it is safe for the kids to play, no broken fences, you know, nothing like that. So, and it's pretty for tourists to come and see our beautiful park. So that's my idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more at Keizer Rapids than there was 10 years ago.
Yeah, a little
You
bit
know,
more.
A couple picnic shelters, some sand volleyball courts.
Less trees.
Yeah, no, or tree.
Yeah, we don't have any trees. Yeah, I mean, when we built it, we had the
No, there's
trees still.
trees. I mean, there's, well, different trees.
Well, yeah,
They're not the
They're not the
filberts no
filberts.
more.
They're not the filberts.
I like the filbert.
So I guess as a body, we don't typically take on big projects like this, but what do we think? I mean, we're potentially looking at a couple weekends where, you know, we get folks together and, you know,
And we'll work directly with Robert. We'll have a plan So exactly know what weekend we're gonna do whatever, and so we know what to do. And then, I was gonna go to the art commission and get some artists that could come in and fix up the artwork that needs to be fixed up, so that we're not damaging that, and,
Well, Mark and Chris Callier, they got it's that goofy looking Nutria bridge thing that they
Yeah.
walk on there. It's all destroyed. I mean, those are the things to touch up, make look nice, yeah?
yep.
Jill?
I like the idea of upkeeping and really beautifying and to make it so we can do like a 10-year grand reopening. I think it's an important park and it's a main park here in Keizer. And I think if we don't do it, it's almost a disservice to that area.
Yeah, and I started working on that project in 2013, so to me, it's right here.
I don't remember.
And I don't like to see it in disarray. I want to get it beautified, and then I think we need to work on a plan, whoever the parks person is for that park, just to kind of keep an eye on it and say, maybe we need to just touch up this little thing this summer or something like that, right? So we don't let it get out of hand. I mean, there's so much to do, and we don't have enough staff to constantly go there and do that. So I think it takes us to look at it and say, like, maybe we can get some volunteers to just go ahead and do this. Staff's got the paint, or staff's got whatever we need, so that's not the problem. The problem is getting people down there to do it and doing it right and
Yeah.
using the right things.
I think if we advertise it right, I think getting people there is not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And I do agree that, it's easy to ignore a dull penny, but when it's shiny, you want to take care of it, you want it to be nice. I think the attitudes have shifted some since we first opened it, and there was a tremendous amount of pride. The use and the attitudes there is not what it used to be. I can't tell you how often I see people just dump their coffee out there on the thing
know.
and just look at it like, not my problem. And so.
And they wear stiletto heels, not my problem.
I was so disappointed
It's
in
just
David that day.
disrespect, really. I mean, it just kind of, there's nothing we can do. We can yell at them, but that doesn't do any good, so.
David, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think we should clean it up and we should maintain it, since a lot of us put a lot of effort into it. And a few of us gave a little bit of blood.
Quite literally.
Literally, yeah, literally.
Kind of crushed my finger there. Working on the merry-go-rounds.
Yeah.
Blood's there forever.
I remember you did, I remember.
Oh, yes. Anyway, yes, I think with the effort that I know you and I made and a lot of other people.
Oh, Bob was out there the whole time. I mean, I think everybody here, for the most part, probably did
Yeah.
something during it.
We're
yeah.
all out there.
Yeah, I think we should maintain it as best we can. I mean, I used to mow the lawn before it was why there's filbert trees around. I'll bring my own lawnmower. And I rigged,
Make sure your mic's on, please, David.
Yeah, he's yelling at us.
I'm colorblind, is it on?
Yes, no, yes.
Our powers combined.
I don't see red lights very well. In fact, the red and green lights you're supposed to see, they look the same to me.
Is that why I was? Never mind.
Yes, I'm colorblind.
Yeah. But we still love you, David.
I know. Just don't ask me to pink and gray. Never go there.
Fair enough.
So a lot of us put a lot of effort and blood into it, so I think we should maintain it the best we can.
And I'm willing to lead the way. I'm willing to start getting that group together to lead the way, to do this, because I've always taken pride in that park. Like you said, we all left something behind, and I want to see it come back to the way it was, and then figure out how we can maintain it going forward.
Can we
With
call
volunteers.
Debbie and tell her we're putting wood chips back?
I'm not even making that joke.
I can't believe you just
Marlene,
said-
you weren't here, so when Debbie retired, which is still so inappropriate in my opinion, I brought her a jar
Oh, you
of the wood
didn't.
chips, and I think we all signed a card and we gave it to her when she left. Yeah. I learned in that project, you don't tell Debbie Lockhart no.
Hey, she took a week's vacation to be out there working on that park side by side with everybody else.
Well, she was rolling the rock and directing
Oh,
it,
she
and I
was-
said, I need you to give me 5 more minutes, I'm not here, and she looked at me and she goes, I didn't ask you, move. Yes, ma'am.
There you
I
go.
didn't know who Debbie was, and I learned right there and then.
You did, that's right, because you weren't involved, that was your
No.
first time. And then
So-
Marlene said, oh, Matt,
Yeah.
come on,
No,
Parks.
just meeting her as.
And he's
the
been
deputy
excited ever
recorder,
since.
Like, I knew right then, you don't mess with Debbie.
Well, and she trained Dawn, I think, very well,
Yes, yes.
because John told me usually to be quiet too.
I understand.
All right, I love this idea. Let's work together and let's come up with a plan. Let's announce it in April for sure. We'll have a really good crafted plan. It'll get Robert's blessing and everything else, and then
And budget.
we'll kick this thing off and make it work. I think it's very, very appropriate, Councilor Parsons. Thank you for bringing that energy back.
It's exciting.
All right, staff report.
No.
Yes, we had an
What do you want to do?
incident happened at the pickleball courts recently. A car crashed into the front of them and took out a couple gates and some fencing. Don't know a lot of details of it, but sounds like the gas pedal was mistaken for the brake and the car went into the courts. Nobody was injured, so that's the good thing. I'm currently working with our fencing contractor who built the court fence to come down, give us a price on what it's gonna cost to repair. I've already been in contact with the driver's insurance company, so everything's moving forward. Try to get that repaired as quick as we can. We removed the 2 gates. We have 2 gates caution taped off right now, 2 entry points, but there are still 4 other entry points available for court users, and the courts did not get damaged to where they can't be used, so all the courts are open. So got lucky there, nobody got hurt. That's the bottom line. We were able to get a lot of the parks mowed the last week or so. We had some pretty good weather after the snow, so that was nice. A lot of people were out and about. Can't tell you how many times I drove by the big toy parking lot and there was nowhere to park. And same with the dog park parking lot, and pretty much same thing with the pickleball parking lot that we just built. I have a picture somewhere floating around on my phone. I drove by one day and they were all full. It's crazy. I love seeing it though. It's fantastic. That is a heck of a park and a lot of people will get out and enjoy it as soon as the sun comes out. So it's good to see.
Robert, I'm gonna ask you a question I don't even have an answer for.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything from Chariots on
No.
whether or not they're gonna get their act together and get us a bus down there?
I've heard zero. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything, but not me.
I know where I'm going tomorrow.
We did take down some of the wind screening. Well, some volunteers took down some of the wind screening because in January and February, we were having ice issues on the courts. So the wind screening was causing ice issues. So the wind screening is still down, but we anticipate putting that back up here really soon. And it's just zip tied up. It's pretty easy. So I was gonna seek some volunteers when it felt appropriate. I started hearing about snow in the forecast this week and I was freaking out, but I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. I think we're hopefully through it, but it snowed on spring break multiple times, so I don't know if we're out of the weather yet. But probably April 1st, it'll go back up.
No joke?
Wow. Jeez. Ba-dum-ts. We did have quite a storm, windstorm hit, and we lost 5 trees. Was that like a week and a half ago? I know I got a tornado warning on my phone. That was weird. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting calls that trees are falling. So we got all that debris picked up. Wallace House, Keizer Rapids, and Hidden Creek all had some trees fall. And I think that's about it. The skate park volunteers kicked butt over there last weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they were over there grinding away at the rough concrete again, just taking off the top of those stones, because as that concrete's aging, it's becoming more like exposed aggregate. And it's becoming so rough in areas, they just won't skate across it anymore. Skateboards in particular, I guess scooters can still kind of glide on it, but the skateboards themselves, it just wasn't working. So Paul and the group, Jacob and the various other skaters that use that area have volunteered their time. They keep coming to me with ideas and they just want to keep volunteering. It just keeps amazing me. I mean, all the way to a pollinator garden, which was about the last thing I thought they were going to bring forth, but I love it and support the heck out of that, especially seeing how we have a vegetable garden nearby that would benefit from it, and I'm sure all the neighbors could too. So amazing group of kids. So love working with them. And I also had an Eagle Scout reach out to me again this week that might start the garbage can project back
Yay.
up, because
That
I know
would
the
be
last one was
fantastic.
unable to proceed, so. Sounds like I've got a scout on board to do at least 10 of those at Keizer Rapids Park. We're
Yeah.
gonna focus on that park first, and then once that gains more popularity, we'll venture out to other parks as I have more people available, scouts
I don't know
probably
how anybody who sees that garbage can can't
Yeah.
think it's incredibly popular. Like,
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I think that scout will probably be coming to the Parks Board. He was interested in how to get funds for his project, and I mentioned that the youth grant was available, and I know there was still some money there. We're getting down to, let's see, you guys issued 500 today, so you have about $4,000 left in the youth grant to be spent before June 30th.
and I don't think we meet in May.
Yeah, is it May or April, Ralph?
It's May,
It's
I
May?
think. Was it is it April or May for the budget? Budget is taking our,
May.
I thought it was
May.
May. Okay,
So we may skip May, okay.
so
will skip May.
we're gonna meet in April, but we
Yeah.
won't meet in May.
Got it.
And he was telling me he wanted to do the project in probably the first week of June, so it meets the timeline criteria there. So
Okay.
I'll encourage him
Make sure it gets
As long as
to
we
get
the-
here
the
next
app
next
in-
week.
In April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before I forget, the park sign from Hidden Creek coming over to Country Glen got tagged. I
Okay.
don't know if anybody sent that to you. I was gonna send it to you, but,
What, do you know when that was?
yesterday.
Yesterday. Thank you.
Annoying.
I know,
Yeah, she's-
morbid. That's what it is. Person who's tagging.
All right, so since I failed to remember to remind Dawn to put our parks report, has anybody got anything glaringly obvious in any of your parks that need to be brought up for Robert's attention other than what Tanya brought up? Okay. Counselor Parsons. Hey, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
You lost your thought, you had it, you lost it?
no, I have it. We're good.
Okay,
I'll wait.
well, we're in planning mode for budget, so, and you might be sorry that you put me on the Parks Board as a liaison, but we'll work through it. I'm glad to be here, though, and, I hope I can help bring some new ideas and we can go forward with our parks. They're gonna be the best ones yet. In any city, we're gonna be the best. So we're just, basically, we did long range and short, term goals, and we're gonna, on, Monday, we will, vote on those, and then they'll be put up there on the board. And then we're getting ready for budget. We had long range planning last night, and, budget comes up in May, so. Nothing really exciting.
Well, I think it's appropriate since in the last time we've seen each other, both David and Council Parsons have had birthdays, so it's belated, but happy birthday to both of you. Liam, I was on a roll, don't interrupt. Go ahead, what do you got?
Is he gonna sing?
Anyway, so I've mentioned this a few times before, but the Parks Club at McNary is officially going to start on the 31st of March, right after spring break. So we can, you can send me email me some potential projects that we can do, and then once we have our first meeting, I'll gather some information and then send them your way if there's any projects that our students want to see done. But that's pretty much it.
Question for you. Is that something you guys want to, projects that you want to do this spring, right? This school year?
Yeah, probably before the school year ends.
Okay, thank you. It just helps me dial in that list of knowing when the project might get done.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm excited you guys do
Congratulations.
that. Two quick others. This Saturday is the 15th annual Civic Center cleanup. So many hands make light work. There's going to be a group of us. Clay, are you there Friday?
Possible.
Great. So there's going to be a group of us on Friday going out and cleaning up and kind of trim things down. Then Saturday morning, kicking off right at 9 a.m., we're going to be doing the cleanup. all skill levels, all ages, all abilities, please show up. We will find a job for you. This is just a really cool event. It saves the city thousands of dollars every single year. It's a great opportunity to meet new friends and reacquaint yourself with somebody you may not have seen since the previous year. Mark Callier won't be here this year, so you're stuck with me. But, you know, this promises to be a really, really good event. We got people bringing drinks, cookies, and all the things. And so be there ready to go by 9 o'clock, dress appropriate for the weather. Robert, we got to check on trash cans, just make sure we got everything we need, ready to rock and roll for it. Quads charged, gators ready to rock and roll, et cetera, and so on. But it's a super fun event. I think Chief and Tim Whittle probably be in the trash can again this year, which is great. Nothing like watching the chief of police up there slinging trash cans full of barberries. I want to leave you guys with one other thing. So if you haven't been paying attention, the old fountain is gone. I know that Lisa probably reported on that for me last month when I was sick. The progress on the Keizer Gold Star Family Memorial Project is moving quite well. And I want to first really say thank you to Councilor Parsons and the Elks Club. They came together in an absolutely extraordinary way over the Super Bowl weekend and since then. And am I allowed to say? Okay. So Councilor Parsons handed me another check tonight, which brings the grand total to $5,000 for that project raised by Keizer Elks. It's going very well. I fully anticipate that we will be able to order that monument on time and hopefully have it hit exactly where we need to hit it by September. You know, we're in a little bit of a Bon Jovi situation in that we're almost halfway there, and we need to get the rest of the money going. But again, the city has applied for a grant, and we're hopeful for that, and then the momentum continues to happen.
Oh, excuse me, and Matt, we have a fundraiser for that on March 31st.
I was just going to bring that up.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you thought, you looked like you were like going on to something else.
I was switching gears. It's paused for dramatic effect.
Okay.
So thank you, yes. And I get to help coordinate with Mayor Kathy Clark, Councilor Parsons, Councilor Kohler. We're doing a event this March 31st presented by the Rec, the bowling alley on the south end of town. At least 50% of the proceeds are going to go towards this project with a guaranteed match of $1,000. Okay? We're at 2,000 now? 2,000 match. 2,000, okay, 2,000 match. Can I hear 3? Okay, so, I mean, this is super exciting. So, the people are really getting behind this. And somebody, I'm gonna leave you on a little bit of an emotional thing here for a second, okay? Somebody asked me about 2 weeks ago, why? Why this project? And I didn't have an answer, other than it's just the right thing to do. But what means, why is this right? And I think as a nation, we do a really good job of remembering our veterans. I think we do a really good job of remembering those that passed away on Memorial Day. But I think that we can do better at remembering those that lost the most, and those are the family members, okay? Because there's something that exists in the military that exists really nowhere else in the world. And that is when you are in it, you're in it, and it's 100%. When good things happen, everybody rallies around you. When families are, when there's marriages or when there's babies born or whatever, there's everybody there that's around you. But when someone dies and there's that hole left, for a period of time, everybody comes around you. But then reality sets in, and unless you have a place near the base or near a base, you get sent back to wherever. And when you're a husband or a wife, a mom or a dad, a son or a daughter, or a child of somebody that has lost their life, there's a hole that can never be filled. And we don't do enough, in my opinion, to remember that. And this is that opportunity for those people to find a place in Oregon, to take that moment, to reflect on their loss. This is not about any individual person. This is about the loss of a community of people. And it's really important. And so the amount of appreciation that I could express is, there's no words for it. I mean, the weather hit, Mark Callier, Randy Miller, Ron Christopher and others got together, and in a week, they had that thing completely demolished. That's incredible. That's how Keizer gets work done. That's when we show up at our best, and I am been blown away at the response. I got a text today from Shauna Fennison, Ryan J. Hill's mom, that she's just like, I can't even believe how well this is going on. She is a Gold Star family. And so this isn't about a veteran. This isn't about the person that was killed. This is about those families. And so I'm super grateful for everybody that's participated in this. This is going to be a great thing. We didn't get to do the groundbreaking because the ground is broken, so we're still going to try to kick that off. There's been a couple shirts passed out. If you on the board are interested in the shirts, let me know as soon as possible. I can probably get some ordered still. But I'm just super grateful. So March 31st, that event's going to kick off. If we can do what the Elks did and bring $4,000 or $5,000 to this project with a guaranteed match right now of $2,000, it's going to be pretty incredible. So, yeah, thank you, Keizer. Thank you, everybody that showed up to get this done. And thank you to the Parks Board supporting this grant, because I think it got us across the finish line pretty good. So, all right, Gwen's not here. Who wants to report to council?
I'll do it.
Who hasn't had a chance to report to council?
I don't think
In
I
a
have in
while.
a while.
Huh?
It's been a while since I've done it.
Well, like last week?
Yeah,
No. I love you, I mean it, no.
but I've been taking notes.
Clay, when's the last time you got to do it? Do you want to do it? You free on the 8th?
When is it?
The 8th? Nope, just kidding, the 17th?
Yeah, next Monday. Wear green.
Yeah, I'm out of town 15th
through the
19th.
No takers?
I told you.
No takers? All right, Lisa or I will take care of it.
Okay, you can do it.
All right, folks. Hey, great meeting tonight. If there's no other statements, witty comments, or remarks, we will stand adjourned at 7:17.